The fashion figure is an idealized form. This figure is usually more conceptual, drawn elongated, but with a business perspective of representing the client's aesthetic, showcasing the garment, and establishing the designer's look. A natural figure is 7 heads tall. Imagine the height in repeating the figure's head for body length. A fashion figure is usually elongated to 9 heads tall, sometimes even longer. Mapping out the figure helps you find the correct balance and proportion. It divides the body into units of heads tall and heads wide. Starting with the heads tall, draw up equal spaces and number them from 1 to 9 as per the image shown here. Each space represents one figurehead for body length. You can now name the body parts where they meet the lines, starting with the chin, then the shoulder lines, armhole, waistline, end of torso, thigh, knees, calf, and ankle. Now with the heads wide, using the same grid, imagine turning the figure's head sideways for width of the body. At the shoulders, use 1.5 heads wide, 1 head at the waist, and 1.5 at the hips. Mapping out the figure this way will help you give better proportions for your croquis. Notice that a 9 heads tall figure adds in more torso support lines to help match up both sides of the body and define the proportions. Stylized figures minimize the posing but maximize the elongation. These figures are often related to the designer's signature design or look. They also add a stronger individual styling. The balance line is a line that runs perpendicular to the floor. It starts at the pit of the neck and it drops near the supporting leg. This line supports the balance of the pose. Notice how the torso and supporting legs are the same in these drawings, allowing the other leg and arms to move freely, creating different poses. See how the torso angles and the support legs allows me to swing the other leg and arm. Here I have already drawn up a grid with the 9 heads tall and numbered them all. I can now proceed to add the body parts where they meet at the lines, and this will be your guide until you can memorize it. You don't have to do this in the future, it's just so you have a guidance at the beginning when starting your croquis. Once you start practicing it, you won't need to build up those grids anymore. So let's get started with this. So number 1 is the chin. Then you can see the second line, this line in between number 1 and 2, which is not right in the middle, it's a little bit above. And this is what your shoulder line will be. Then number 2 will be your armhole. And also the bust line. Number 3 is the waistline. Number 4 is the end of torso. I usually just keep this slightly below the actual number 4, but if you want to keep it higher, if you want to keep the legs longer, you can keep the end of torso at number 4. Now, number 5 is the thigh. Number 6, knees. Between number 7 and 8 is the calf. And number 9 is the ankle. Now you can see how I have 10 lines here. So that means that where your ankle is sitting, your foot will be going down. So if she's standing up with flat shoes or no shoes, her foot will finish here. If she's wearing high heels, it will go longer, just similar to one head's length as well. Now that I have the grid mapped out, I can start by drawing the balance line, and for that I'm gonna get a ruler and I'm drawing a straight line perpendicular to the floor. Right, the balance line usually drops down from the neck bit, so I don't have anything drawn up yet, but you can just start up with the line. So from here I can start drawing the line. I can do a oval shape. After the head, I can proceed to the shoulders. So these will be my shoulders. Remember how we talked about the shoulder lines will be 1.5. So basically we are taking this length and flipping sideways and adding half of it. So it will be pretty much around this. Then the next thing we should do, it will be the waist. And okay, so the waist will be here and the waist will be 1 head width. All right, then we're going down to the hips. So the hips will be very similar to the shoulder width, and this will be the end of torso, right? So in this pose, the shoulders, the waist, and the torso lines will be straight because this is a standing pose. So always keeping in mind that the shoulders will be 1.5 heads wide, the waist will be 1 head wide, and the hips will be 1.5. So this guide will help you to give the correct proportions of the body. So now what we can do is create circles for the joints. So let's say the shoulders. Then we have the elbows. Elbows will be sitting at the waist position. You can do your wrists, you can do your knees, and ankles. Now you can start connecting all the lines. So you see how you have a funny looking shape. And then to the knee. And here we have the first draft of our body. So what we're doing next, after connecting all the joints with the lines, you can start filling in the body shape. So you're adding curves to the body. Okay, and now with the head, what you're gonna do is you already have that split in half, so you split in half horizontally as well. And this is where your eyes will be sitting, and slightly below that will be your nose, so that's where your ears will be sitting. To make everything easier as well to find your head position, just imagine drawing a little diamond on the inside. So you have that space for the chin and that for the forehead. Now when drawing the back view, you can start with the same steps. So I'll start dropping the balance line. This will be the head. And then your shoulders. So your shoulders, then you go down to your waist, and then you go out to the hips, and then you'll find your knees. Your shoulders, then your elbows, and then your hands. So from here we can start adding curved lines. So she's back, so I'll just do hair going down the side. Just adding some curves. Drawing the fashion figure can be intimidating, but one of the easiest poses to develop is a walking pose. The figure is full front with minimal action to recreate in a sketch. Starting with the balance line, it drops down from the pit of the neck and it falls perpendicular to the floor. This line often finishes close to the supporting leg. Then looking for the pose angles in the shoulders, waist, end of torso lines. Now connecting the head, shoulders and angles to create the torso. The torso size establishes the proportion for the rest of your future drawing. After complete, I can now define the shapes and curves, and this gives you the structure to complete any pose you want. Now here, using the same grid I used before, I'm gonna draw a walking pose. So starting again with the balance line, so in this case the balance line will go from the neck and it will finish close to the supporting leg. So as you saw on the images before, starting with the head, notice on this pose how the shoulders and the hips are in opposite angles. So I'm gonna tilt the shoulders slightly high, waistline's here, and then the hips will be a different angle. So that one's going up and this one's going up that way. So from here I can join all these angles so you can see how her torso has some movement. Then looking at the legs, how her leg, this one's going that way, and then that leg is slightly behind, so it's going this way. So you see how the balance line, it really went down all the way near the supporting leg. So from here I'm gonna do her arms, and let's add some curves to this body. Now here with the head again, I'm gonna split in the middle, then dropping the ears. Now remember the diamond we talked about before, so we can just build that diamond, and this is where your hairline will start, just right at the top. So I like to keep the hairstyle simple so it's easy to manage and I don't waste too much time on it, because the focus is designing and not doing the hair. Okay, so in this case, when I'm doing the back, let's think about the same image flipped to the other side. I can start with my balance line again. So here's my head. Then the shoulders will go the other angle and the hips will go the other angle. Okay, so I'll just connect all the dots, connect all the lines, and then finding out where the joints are. And then in this case, this leg will be at the back, so, and that one. Now adding curves to my drawing. And now I'll just draw her hair running to the side. Now, if you would like to pose the legs and the arms differently to what we have here, remember to keep the proportions. So in this case, we have that leg as our supporting leg. So I'll just quickly color up that in a different color. So you see, this is our supporting leg. Okay, so this leg needs to stay where it is. We can easily move this leg to whatever side we want. We can move it to the side, for example. So thinking about the proportions. So then here again, just looking angle and angle. Okay, so just keeping all the curves. And here we go. Just make sure it's aligned to the pose. And the same thing to the back. So you're keeping your supporting leg where it is. And then you can just, let's pretend it's here. So you can just go like that. See? There we go. Now, if you want to pose the arms, let's say you want to put your hands in your pocket, remember to keep the same proportion. So this will be your elbow and then your forearm bending to go inside your pocket. You can also do that to the other side. Remember to keep the same proportion. And here we are. A good exercise to better understand and practice the fashion figure is to analyze a reference picture of a specific pose. See, this is a runway pose. Observe the dynamics like low shoulder and high hip that will establish the balance and movement.